missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a color correction. I've done a few of these on my channel already, but today I want to go a little bit more in depth as to why I'm going to be using the products that I'll be using for this color transformation, and then what it's going to look like as it fades and what to expect and prepare your clients for, because I think it's very important to always educate your clients on what the color is going to fade to so that they trust you and they feel like they know what you're talking about when you can already predict what's going to happen to their hair. So just a quick color history. This client has been coming to me for a while, and so we've been balayaging her, weaving her roots, and the last color that we did was blue. I did warn her that it was going to fade green, and since doing her roots, she's been refreshing it with a color balm that I made her at home, which was just like a blue color balm I made with the Pulp Bright Santa Barbara and some of the Pulp Bright semis. So I'm going to first start off and just start weaving her, highlighting her roots to kind of lighten up what is the darkest. Our goal today is pretty much to work on canceling out this like turquoisey color that her hair has faded to. She also has informed me that she hasn't really used that blue mask that I used on her, that I gave her in a while. So this is kind of like where it's stained at this point. She has been trying to clarify it and wash out this color. But a lot of times we know that blues and greens, they just really like to stay in the hair. And oftentimes when you do like a really vibrant blue, it does stain it pretty bad. And it's something that you kind of have to warn your clients if they ever want to do blue, because I feel like if you don't tell them and then they kind of run into this problem, sometimes it might upset them if they didn't expect it. So it's really important to educate your clients on what it might fade to. So the first thing I always like to tell them is it's going to fade very quickly because blue does not stay in the hair very well, and even if you do like a really bright blue, it does fade out super fast. So as it's fading out, it does fade more the turquoisey side, and then it fades into that greenish minty tone if it even gets there. And so at that point, if a client ever wants to change their hair, I do like to tell them, you know, if you want to do blue, it's going to take a few sessions to kind of get out the green and the blue because of how stubborn it can be. By the way guys, I'm just doing a classic foiling of the root here, and I'm just using the same products that I normally use in all my videos, which is the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf Lightener, and I started off with a bowl of 6 and 20, and then I'm just doing straight 20 volume for the rest of the head. And so this video is going to be more so about me talking about how to prepare your clients when they go blue and when they want to change from blue, but I'm going to touch again on like my technique as well. So the underneath, I do them a little bit more on the chunky side, and then as I get towards the top here, you'll see that my weaves do get a little bit smaller, and everything below the halo I do like to keep it a little bit more dimensional, but as I get towards the top and especially around the face, I do like to keep my weaves pretty close together so that she feels like she has a lot of color. Okay, so going back to the bluish color, so since this client's hair, her hair looks pretty still blue and turquoisey in my opinion. So our goal, what we're going to be doing today, is after I weave her roots, she was okay with doing a really vibrant red, and Pulp Bright is so great because they've come out with a semi-permanent that is a pretty deep red. It's called Pyro, and it is my favorite from the collection, I would say, because this red is a true deep red. Unlike Fireball can sometimes be a little pinky depending on what you put it on, and Countess sometimes doesn't just look as vibrant of a red to me, in my opinion. So I feel like Pyro is perfect for this type of situation. And I love using the semis because you don't have to worry about it fading weird. I feel like since it's a semi-permanent, it's gonna fade back to hopefully a blondish tone if it fully cancels out all of the green. But because of how blue and turquoise her hair currently is, it honestly might take a few sessions of us doing a pink tone or pyro or any type of red semi to kind of get rid of this. Okay, so quickly going back to my highlighting technique. So after I kind of reach the temples of the head, I go in and start doing the money piece. I did about 2 slices back to back, and now I'm just doing some baby lights and some medium-sized weaves before I finish off the top. And again, I'm just using the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf lightener with 20 volume, and I mix that 1 to 2 with 20 volume. So guys, I shot this video probably a few months ago actually, and after this appointment, her hair still did fade a bit on like the bluish side, even though we did like such a deep red, as you'll see at the end of the video. And so I gave her some color to take home, some pyro, and so she refreshed the pyro herself at home, kind of like a color bomb, and it still kind of faded more on the bluish side, but it was getting there. Like her hair was getting more of that pastel, and like it was getting closer to neutralizing all of the blue out. And so that pretty much is almost like having, I would say, like 2 sessions of the red, and then I think she did 1 more and it was still kind of blue. So this is just a really great example to explain to your clients so that it might just take sessions if you want to do this route where you're canceling out the blue. And some of you guys might be wondering, why didn't I use blank canvas? And to be honest, because I balayage her, I didn't want to use blank canvas because I didn't want any warmth coming out of like it lifting her natural in between the highlights. And then the other thing was, right now at this point, because her hair is so bluish green, I didn't want to use blank canvas because I feel like the color is still super vibrant, and even if we did use blank canvas, it wouldn't have, like, she still would have needed to do red because it still would have been minty. So I personally like to save blank canvas for a client if they're already like almost blonde, to get rid of the last bits of color, unless they really don't want to do any type of red or do the opposite color to help cancel it out. Those are pretty much the only times I'll use blank canvas, just because I feel like it's a lot healthier if you can just kind of work with the canvas that you already have on your client and then just explain to them that it's going to take sessions to get there. So by not using blank canvas, I am preserving the natural in between her highlights so that they don't get warm. And then I'm also kind of preserving the health of her hair. I mean, blank canvas is generally not super damaging at all, but if I can avoid it, I would. So I figured, since she was okay with doing a very deep red tone to help cancel out the green, that we were going to just opt to do this instead, and then just kind of work our way slow and get her back to a natural tone slowly and more healthy. So this is what my client's foils look like when they were ready to be rinsed. She lifts beautifully, so I lifted her to pretty much a level 9 and 10. And after this is, I'm going to be putting the red right on top of her highlights. I'm not toning or pre-toning or anything like that. And generally our goal is to get her back to almost blonde if possible. She already knows it's not going to happen today, but just over the time of getting sessions of canceling out the green, we will slowly get there. So here's what her canvas looked like after we had pretty much blow dried her. I only washed her with Budapest clarifying shampoo, and we didn't put conditioner because we're going to be putting the semi right on top of it. But you can see the beautiful blend that she has. This is pretty much how her hair looks without toner. So now I'm going in with my semi formulation, and I did mix up a slightly darker formula for her root just to give her a nice little shadow root, and I believe I used Pyro and some Velvet just to kind of help deepen it. And then on the mids and ends I just did straight Pyro, which is that deep blood red that I was telling you guys about. And guys, I want to mention it one more time that Pyro is such a game changer, because this is I feel like, in my opinion, the only semi red that stays deep, and I love it because a lot of my clients who ever want to try like a deep red, I used to say no, because we all know that if you do a red like demi-permanent or something else, it always is really hard to get out, and red is one of the most the hardest color to remove. But Pyro is not, because it's in a form of a semi-permanent, and this is, if this was just on blonde hair, her hair would start to fade just pink before it fades back to blonde, which is the beauty of this color. So I let this process for about 25 minutes at room temperature and then rinse it with an ice cold water. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. You can see how she has a beautiful shadow root with that gorgeous, vibrant, deep red. I mean, come on guys, as a semi-permanent, I feel like the richness and how deep of a red this is, it's just so gorgeous. I could not get enough of it, and it's just so nice to know that this isn't going to stain her hair. This is going to come right out. The only bad side of it is that it does fade super fast, and it like bleeds on practically everything. So you just got to warn your clients, if they have this type of red, it's going to bleed everywhere. So yeah, considering her color history and the way her hair was before we started, this color faded into like a pinkish, purplish, bluish color. It actually looked really pretty for a while, but we're still kind of working on getting her back to a natural color, because some of the blue, even after how bright of a red we just did, started to still peek through. So this is going to be a work in progress over time before she fully gets back to natural. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.